here. The session is being recorded, as you may know. So we will be sharing this on social platforms. Obviously, if something personal is being shared, that will be edited out. It won't be included on social platforms. Second of all, I am currently in Lebanon. Here we have no electricity, we have no power, we have basically very little resources. So if I do get cut off, you'll have to forgive me. It's beyond my control. We're running on a generator right now, but even that might fail. So please bear that in mind. The session is a Q&A session for us to learn from one another, to be friends, and to be transparent. No offense. And if anybody is uncomfortable about anything, please let me know. We are here to discuss possibilities. Okay? So, with that, the topic of our session today is really religion and spirituality, mediumship, that sort of thing. And I want to welcome, first of all, your questions. If anyone wants to start with a question, now is your chance. Otherwise, I'll start with points that I'll bring up myself. Do any of you have any questions?
I have a question, but I'm not sure if I'm muted or not.
You are unmuted. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Is there any mention of reincarnation in the Bible? I know you've read it.
I've read the Bible, and to my knowledge, I haven't come across reincarnation. My focus is on the New Testament. So,
Right.
the New Testament, definitely, I've not come across reincarnation.
Okay.
But it does not mean that it doesn't exist. I,
Correct.
there's so many possibilities in life. It doesn't mean that we have to see things from a narrow perspective.
Another question is on reincarnation.
Sure.
Um, I know we come back in groups. I guess we follow our group here and there. And is that just family or is that friends also that we share our time with now?
Uh, I'm not quite sure where you got the idea of groups from, Liz. I mean, it would be ideal if we can all reincarnate and, uh, in an ideal situation, all meet up again. All the people who love each other and like each other. So
Uh-huh.
that's the ideal. But I don't think it quite works this way, to the best of my knowledge. Now, I may not know the full
Okay.
scope, okay? Uh, because I've seen it happen individually here and there. On this subject, though, for the sake of clarity, one must exercise caution, especially when approaching regression hypnosis or going through previous lives or whatever, because the mind, as it is, untamed and undisciplined, can wander off to the twilight zone, can imagine and conjure up thoughts and fascinating objects and realities that are beyond ours. So it's very easy for somebody to slip into other realities and accept them as a fact. So basically, what I'm saying here is we need to be very careful about what we think is reincarnation or what is our mind suggesting that I have been here, I am reincarnated. There's a fine line here. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
So, yeah. What else? Anybody else has anything?
Um, I have a question, or just curiosity. Something that I've heard recently. I don't know what your thoughts are, if you've ever heard anything such a thing, but have you ever heard anybody talk about shared crossings, like uh, end of life, like maybe a caregiver or somebody who was close to this person who was passing? When that person passed, the other person felt like they were there too, or maybe you were distant and somebody crossed over and like you were asleep, and then at this in your dream you were there as they crossed over. Have you heard something like that? Any thoughts?
I've heard of situations where subject A passed and subject B is sleeping in a distant place, unaware that subject A has passed, and
Right.
yet they see them in a dream. And they say something like, I'm very happy now. I'm very happy. They wake up and they say, wow, I just saw a dream of subject A and it feels like I need to call. They called and they found out that they've just passed. So this has happened quite a bit. And what a beautiful confirmation. It comes because that gives healing as well to the person, to subject B, knowing that A has actually passed and is in a better place. So perhaps I've answered your question. I'm not quite sure.
You have. I had something similar to that years and years ago. I was in high school, but I had recently, talking with my Aunt Liz, um, come across some information that I was just curious to see what your thoughts were too, because it talked about the end of life and just as you said.
Would you like to share with us your experience? I'd be fascinated to learn.
Oh, well, I was maybe well, maybe 19 years old. Um, and I was asleep, and it was actually my best friend's grandmother. And I had only met her once, and we had traveled. I was in Illinois. We traveled to Texas, over spring break, and I got to meet her and had a lovely time with her. And then it's like a year later, I was asleep, and I woke up after having this dream of her, and we were sitting at her kitchen table, and she was just talking away, and how lovely it was to meet me, and how happy she was that her grandson and I were such good friends, and that we were going to continue being friends, and just like we had this great conversation. And then she's like, "But I have to go now," and um I don't remember exactly what she said after that, but I just remember it was just like I felt just so much love, and it was just like the coolest thing ever. It was, and when she said I have to go now, it was like when, she kind of went off, I was just like, oh my gosh. And I woke up and I'm like, holy cow, she just passed. And then he called me in the morning. He's like, I just wanted to let you know. And I said, I know, I'm so sorry she's gone. And he's like, how do you know? I said, I talked to her last night. So it was really a cool experience and something that I'll never forget.
Definitely, that is a beautiful experience, and I pray that you will never forget it because, believe it or not, this is a double-edged sword here, but in a good way, because
Mm,
she helped you in her transition, but you also helped her. You see,
yeah.
you gave her love, and she gave you love. This is love, as you said. The first thing you described this as you felt so much love there.
Yes.
Helped you both. It also awakened a side to you uh, that is going to be treasured and will be unfolding. I think, the potential is there for the butterfly to come out of the cocoon and spread her wings. And this is a very significant milestone for you. And I hope it stays with you forever. Lovely.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, guys, today we are going to touch upon some questions, some myth, some superstitions, and so forth. So, first of all, I keep reading or listening or seeing people say that we are born with sin. And the same people tell me Jesus came to this planet to absolve us of sin so that our sins are forgiven or forgotten or whatever. So, which one is it? Are we born with sin? And if Jesus took away our sins, does that mean that I am now sin free? And how could I be born of sin when I have been created in the image of God, as it were? This is what's stated in the Bible. So, how come I am now born with sin? So, I'm here to try and make sense of all of this What do you guys think? Do you believe that we are born with sin?
I I don't think so. I believe that we're not born with sin. I think that I think that's just part of life. You go through life, you learn and you make mistakes and yeah, no, I don't see us being born of sin. I agree with you. I think or your thoughts on the I don't know, you're born of love and you're just innocent when you're first born. I think, that life and the experiences that you have here on earth are learning and tools and I just think it's a learning process. And if you sin throughout that and then I just think it's a process and it's I don't know. I can't get my words in right, but yeah, I don't think that we are born of sin. No,
Okay.
I do not
I
believe
think
that.
it's the free will to make the sin. Like you have, as she said, like you were born with love, and then it's the free will because once you're so young, you don't commit a sin actually. Like you're too young to understand that, but whenever you like get older and process like you take the life process, then you will have the free choice or free will like this is wrong and you are doing it and you know it is wrong. This is the sin itself. It's not supposed to be like I'm not sure if it's sin, it's like there's no like small or big. It's something wrong. That's the sin. I know it's like it has degrees, but it's also the free will. I don't know. This is how I think about it.
Okay. You're both right. You're both right. Absolutely. Uh, Let me share with you an experience I had with, um, I don't like to call people extreme. Let's say somebody who's rooted in their Christian beliefs. They're misguided, of course. And they told me that everyone is born with sin. And I said, okay. So I said, so when do we become absolved of it? They said, well, when we get baptized. When we're baptized, that's when we become Christian and the sins are literally washed away from us. I said, okay. Supposing a baby was born with sin, as you said, and they did not get baptized, and that baby sadly died. Where does that baby go with sin? And of course, I could see the nervousness in his face. And he eventually coughed it up and he said, well, he can't go to heaven. I said, so what's the alternative? Where does he go? He said, well, he'll go to hell. I said, do you actually believe that? He said, well, that's what's written. I said, do you actually believe that your God will send the baby to hell? I said, if this is a God you worship, I'm withdrawing right now. I don't subscribe to such a God. This is a baby, as you yourself said, born with innocence. So absolute nonsense. The problem with the modern day Christianity and religion as a whole is people are fabricating things, coming up with all sorts. And I've tried to reiterate several times. I've been fortunate because my background, I am Lebanese, and I've learned Christianity in Arabic. And I've read the New Testament several times. Arabic is very close to Aramaic, which is the language of Christ. They don't know that. The translated versions of the Bible in the Western world are so erroneous, full of misconceptions. There's so much redacted stuff, misinterpretations. Even the name of the Son of Man is wrong. They don't know his name. They call him Jesus. And I say, who is Jesus? There is no Jesus in the Bible. His name in Aramaic is Yeshua, not Jesus. Stephanie, imagine me saying to you, oh, hi, Stephanie. In my culture, you come to my Lebanon here, you visit. And I say, here, your name is not Stephanie. Here we call you Fatima. What? Your name is Stephanie. That's your identification. Why am I changing your name to begin with? So they violate the first rule. They don't know the name. And then we go on to the other stuff where stories are so misinterpreted and they go left, right, and yet they argue with one another, left, right, and center, supercharged with hate and anger, and they wish hell upon each other. And this is what I'm trying to eliminate as much as possible in all the groups that I'm subscribed to bring calm, to bring some common sense to people. No one has the answers. We can just imagine what they might be, but no one knows the answers. Anyone who tells you that they know, absolute crap. They don't know. So, sorry, I went on one here. So, I've also heard that some people saying, we choose our parents before we come to planet Earth. Okay. I ask them sometimes, how can you explain children who are born into abusive parents? I've been 40 years in service. I've dealt with so many children who have been abused by their parents, physically, mentally, psychologically. Physically is the most. So why would a child want to be born to a monster family? They tell me, oh, we're here to learn. Okay, so what is the purpose or what is the lesson being learned here when a child has been wrongfully abused at all levels, including sexually, and then murdered by her father? What is the lesson? What has been gained by this nonsense? Yet again, the theory does not hold right, does not hold true. If that was the case, I would have chosen my dad to be Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos. I'd been happy. Why should I choose someone who's going to beat me up and treat me like dirt? I don't understand. Absolute nonsense. Then comes the other question. Apparently, according to some people, we choose our path. It's not chosen for us. We choose. So basically, we are sort of presented with options. Oh, hi, Garo. How are you? You're going to be born tomorrow. Do you choose to end up being eaten by a shark? Shot by your wife? Or how about the parachute doesn't open and you fall from the sky? Which one would you like? Again, nonsense. If that is the case, then how can we explain the Holocaust? 6 million people being killed. Did they choose to be gassed and murdered? Or in Lebanon, all the atrocity that's going on? Even in America or all over the world, all these people who are victims, did they choose that? I'd like one victim to turn around and say, oh, yes, you know, I loved it in the gas chamber. It's right on what I chose. I'm so happy. No one is happy. No one is happy to die. And no one certainly is not happy to die at the hands of someone else like that. So again, theory is out of the window. We don't choose. God chooses it for us. Again, I don't subscribe to it. What's the purpose? Oh, I choose Garo to be blah, blah, blah. Then why create me in the first place? I mean, what am I doing here? It's like winding a toy. You know the direction it's going to go. I feel that God has far, far bigger things than to worry old Garo, what's he going to do? Well, I know the answer already. I know what he's going to do. So why create him in the first place? There's no fun in that. There's no originality. There's nothing that could serve a good purpose in that. So these are my 3 thoughts on the 3 topics here. What do you ladies feel?
Like for me, I don't know. Like there's a purpose. Like as you mentioned, why God like to create us and then to torture us? Like what's the bigger picture? Okay, to learn. Okay, and then I'll cross over and then okay, whenever I learn my lesson and then will I come back? Will I stay there wherever I don't know where? It's I don't know.
With all due respect, I don't believe in this learn business.
Yeah, me too. So why? So what's the bigger picture for that? Like, okay, like I do believe like he created us and it's all written. Like we move on, but it's all planned. Like even the free will, like, okay, I choose to do this or that, but it's planned at the end of the day. You mentioned it's planned. Like he planned it for us, right?
No, I don't
This is
believe in plan.
okay. So how we're moving?
I don't know. Nobody knows. We can find excuses. We can say, oh, it's planned, it's your destiny, we're here to learn. But I'd like anybody who comes up with these theories to explain to the family who I supported a few months ago, whose little child died of leukemia right before their eyes, who disintegrated, okay? Who died. Their most precious angel died in front of them. What lesson did they gain from it? I tell you what,
This is what I'm saying.
the, the,
I've lost a son, Garo. I've lost my son
I'm sorry you did. I'm really sorry.
3 years ago, and it wasn't his fault. Like he just got on a plane. He landed with his friend in the car. He was sitting at the back seat. His friend like hit another car. Like I don't know what he was doing. And my son, like it was a huge accident. My son is the only one who crossed over. He got ejected out of the car. He was genius. He was too good. But whatever it is, he knew that he was gonna die. Can
This
you explain that to me? He knew.
I'm very sorry for your loss, but this story is reminding me, have we had a reading together?
It's not a reading. One time, like maybe a year and a half or something, like I attended one of your sessions, and at the end of the session, like it was few minutes left, and then you told me there is somebody wants to talk to you, and like you didn't have a clear picture. It was like very new at that time. And then all what you told me something. You told me like he got ejected from the car. He was on the way. And you told me something like June or July, there gonna be something like a feast or marriage or something. He's gonna be there. And it was like my niece's graduation. And I felt his presence. I don't know, but why? This is the point. Like why this happened. He was like he had all his future, all the plans, everything. So what's here? How I'm gonna believe in anything from now on?
Well, first of all, uh, may I say, look, I'm not in the business of flattery, okay? But I want to tell you that I truly appreciate you being here with us,
Thank you.
okay? Despite the fact that you live with that pain in you, I'm sorry for your loss of your treasured son. You are a prime example. What was gained from it? Nothing. No
I
lesson,
don't
no nothing. In fact, if anything, it may have pushed you further away from faith, from
Mhm.
believing in God knows how you clothe yourself back to be sitting here and composed. But I'm going to do something for you as well. I have your email address because you've subscribed to this today. So
Mhm.
I will send you an email with a private link. You're getting a complimentary session with me.
Oh,
If you
thank you.
Okay, I'd love to have a session with you, and I'd love it if he can come from the other side to comfort you. Okay, my dear?
Yeah, thank you. And I want to tell the ladies, like, and even you guys, like, there is something behind that world. Like, he gets, like, he is connecting with me big time. There
Beautiful.
is something beyond this. Like, literally, it made me like so lost at the beginning, and I didn't lose faith. I was like on the other way. I became more faith, like I had more faith even. It's like, and the more I believe, the more I see or feel.
Okay.
It's tangible things, not only like ideas or something or dreams, you know what I mean? It's like, It's weird. It's weird. Like whenever like, but in our culture, Garo, it's, as long as you're Lebanese, I'm Jordanian, it's different. Like this, the States or the Western, like they are free to talk about this stuff. In our culture, it was like the taboo thing. Like you cannot talk freely about this. But lately, like they started. I'm hearing like a lot or many people they talk about this.
Uh, Habibti, please remind me of your name.
Elina,
Alina. You'll have
yeah,
to forgive me. I have a very small
it's
memory.
okay.
And
It's
since I got married, I don't remember the names of beautiful ladies anymore. So
Thank you. Thank you.
you are right. The awakening is happening. People are no longer convinced or subscribing to ignorance. People are opening their eyes. The spirit world is 100% real. 40
Mm.
years, I've seen it over and time again. I've had some incredible evidence come through in the most remarkable ways. I don't need convincing myself, but I pray that whatever rubs off me to you good people, that makes my day. So in your case, I fully understand where you're coming from. In our societies, sadly, they are more happy to believe in the absolute nonsense and self contradictions than to believe that there is a world beyond them. Some people in our culture here believe that the start of civilization is when uh, uh, Yeshua came from the other side. And that's it. They believe that it's 2000. And I tell them, no, no, no. For thousands and hundreds of thousands of years, people have been open spiritually, including Yeshua. He went to India to learn. There's evidence that's coming through now. Between the age of 13 and 33, he vanished. And we know now it's coming through that he actually was in India, where he learned a lot of these things, what he preached and what he showed us. So the world is awakening. In our cases now, it's only small steps, but who cares? The next generation will take bigger steps and so forth. And you are right. Your experiences, please never refer to them as weird. Uh, just say they're different and they are real. I believe you. I absolutely believe you. And when we were discussing your beautiful boy, I felt a chill go through me. Okay. I felt, and that is confirmation to me. I'm not open that way, but I felt that to me was the trigger. That's why I said, Alina, I want to have a session with you if you want to, of course. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
of course. Thank you so much.
of course. So there you go, guys. Oh, I keep saying Habibti, which means my dear in our culture. Okay. So, so Stephanie, what do you feel about all of this? You with your critical mind. Come on now.
Um, so I was just thinking, I'm not good at putting things into words, but so if it's not okay, so let's go back to the family that you were talking about who lost their child. Um, m- could it be that we're not here maybe for lessons, but maybe I don't know, to like I don't even know. I'm just going to make something up. So say somebody who passes um maybe that person was part of the love, and the reason that they were created has to do with how they affect other people's lives and how they might change somebody. Like maybe, for example, I don't know, somebody who, uh, some random grumpy old lady who lives next door, and then their neighbor has, moves in and has children, and um, these children, they drive her crazy, but it's because she's crabby. But then over time, they open her up and bring her back the love and joy she lost for whatever reason. But they connect. And so like they made her life better, and she taught the children stuff. And maybe we're all kind of interconnected, and the time that we have here on earth is, maybe it's not planned out in particular, but maybe we're all born with certain talents or something, and we're meant to share that with the world, and we affect other people, and it's kind of like I don't know, it sounds cheesy, but just kind of like we're all connected to try to help uplift and learn from each other. I don't know. I
Stephanie,
don't know.
Stephanie, uh, you're very close. Very, very close.
Okay.
You're incredibly close. From my experience and from what I'm seeing, and it resonates very well with me. We are here for one another, and we are connected with one another. And yes, the old grumpy old woman moves next door, and the children touch her heart and bring her back to herself. And perhaps it takes a death in the family to bring people back to their humanity.
Right.
Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Is this pre-planned? I don't know. Is this their destiny? I don't know. Are there lessons to be learned? Well, we learn from everything. I mean, if you're here, unless you're a potato, you are learning all the time. So there's a lesson anyway in that. It could be a bad lesson, it could be a good lesson, who knows? But there is a lesson to be learned. But the bottom line here is the connection. This is what people fail to understand. They sit on their high horse preaching, la da da, and God is testing you, and blah blah blah. No, no, no. No, it's the connection with one another. Just the hug. Just the hug. Just to say, look, I appreciate you. I'm here for you. That's all we need. I don't need someone to tell me, oh, my my son has died or my daughter has died because God is testing me. I don't want to hear that nonsense. But I want somebody to come and give me a hug and to make me feel I'm not alone, to make me feel that I'm loved.
Right.
The feeling. So yes, spot on, Stephanie, not bad. Well done. Absolutely spot on. The essence of life is love. So whoever came up with that, I don't want to use the language Liz uses. I was about to swear here. Whoever comes up with that nonsense about us being born with sin, I think this person does not belong to God. Because God does not create people with sin. God does not prosecute, persecute, and punish people and that sort of rubbish. God is of love. God is of love. Unfortunately, in between our lives, we do get tragedies, we get accidents, we get illness, we get so many different things. This is the misfortune of being alive, unfortunately. But on the other hand, we have each other. And we know and we take solace in the fact that it's not ended. Part two will come when we transition to the other side, where our loved ones will be waiting for us. And be it in the form of humans, pets, whoever they are, as long as we have a connection, they will be there. So well done.
Thanks.
I want to go back to the Bible here, and there's a point about Noah's Ark. Do you guys know Noah's Ark? Yeah, he built an ark, and God flooded the planet, killed all the humans who did not believe in Noah. They're all gone. And then, interestingly, God turns around and speaks to Noah. And Noah asks him, you killed all these people. And God says, yes, because they were out of order, they were doing something, whatever it is, they didn't believe. And he said, all these people died. And God says, this is in the Bible, you can check yourselves. And God says, in a way, he expressed his mistake. He says, I will never do that again. And if ever such a flood will come, or the rains, heavy rains will come, I will give you a sign in the form of a rainbow to warn you. Hang on a minute. We're talking about a perfect God here. And he says, I flooded. Oh, that's a mistake. Sorry. Next time I'll send you a rainbow. I don't feel this is written by God. This is written by a 2,000-year-old man. Well, modern man is not any better anyway. From 2,000 years ago, this is the idea that they had. So a lot of people, they tell me, well, what about the Old Testament? I say, well, let's go to the foundations here. The foundations are, there's a paradox here. We're dealing with a mistake right from the beginning, which God admits to. And then he says to Abraham, prove your love to me, kill your son. What? I need to kill my son to prove my love to you? If God came to me now and tells me, prove your love to me, kill Elena or Stephanie, I'll say, no, I'll kill you. I'm not going to kill a human to prove my love to you. Are you insane? In the Bible, again, he says, I'm a jealous God. Do not worship any other God. What are you, narcissistic? It's in the Bible. I'm a jealous God? What do you mean jealous God? If you're sure of yourself, you don't need to be jealous. You say, worship all you want. All the roads will lead to me anyway. But people fail to look at these things. They sugarcoat them, and they go after people like me. You are doing wrong. You are not doing what the Bible says, and you are. I tell them, who? Where? I subscribe to the New Testament because it's simple, it's pure, it's made of love. And there's no mention of mediums. There's no mention by our Lord that we should not be communicating. There's none of that. On the contrary, he says, go and heal, go and pray for the sick. And part of my work is deep, deep healing. In fact, the great part of my work, my link, that's nothing. Why I do what I do is to give healing to people. And some people say, oh, yes, you charge. Well, yeah, of course. You go and buy supermarket potatoes. You're paying for it. You go and buy an album of a musician. You pay for it. They're gifted. They're charging for it. You go to a psychiatrist or psychologist or a doctor. Everybody charges. How else do you expect me to eat? Nonsense. So I'm so glad that you are here. Perhaps this recording will reach people out there who will start to awaken and see the discrepancies and serious flaws and ask themselves. The fundamental law here is that there is no law. Every one of us has laws within themselves. And what we need to do is to live in harmony. Elena has her ideas. Liz has her ideas. Stephanie has her ideas. Garo has his ideas. And all of us should agree to live and let live. Everybody respect each other's views. I have no right to impose my ideas on you. I can present them. You can subscribe to them. Or you can say, you know what, I refute that. I'm sorry. I don't agree with you. Perfectly fine. But I've seen exchanges, heated exchanges. You are going to burn in hell. I look at them like, number one, you're violating the fundamental law of Christianity here, which says, thou shalt not judge, for you will be judged. How can you tell someone that you will burn in hell? You don't know who's going to burn in hell. So absolute nonsense. Let go of the fear, liberate yourselves. Life is beautiful. Life is full of love. Life is not full of those twisted, manipulative, old, wicked people who are trying to instill fear in us, to divide us. One day we're going to see through them and they will weaken, and we are the future. Anyone wants to say anything before we move to another one? Liz, you're very welcome to join us if you want to.
I'm here. I can't get my picture up there, but I'm here. I'm listening.
Don't worry. Main thing is, do you have a question, my dear?
No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you have any answers?
Well, I will share something. Uh, I had I got an aggressive form of breast cancer when my son Andrew was in third grade, and I was a single mom, and always questioned why, and but now I know that I helped so many other women through their trials with this as a nurse, and it was very, very rewarding. And I was so glad that I could help others.
Bless your heart. Well done.
So,
And I thank whoever was the angel of God, whoever it is that pulled you through this ordeal, and for you to be with us. The world wouldn't be the same without Liz. So I'm so glad we have you on this side of life. And I'm that you've done a lot behind the scenes. I know your character, Liz. You're a silent operator. You do good
I,
silently.
I am silent. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank God for that, because when you talk, you spill out all sorts of nonsense. I'm sorry, I had to tease you. I love you very much.
Feelings mutual, Garo.
Okay, we come to the golden question. Did the Messiah break any rules? Elena, come on, you're giggling. Come on, share with
No,
us.
I was no. I was thinking like I wanted to share something, but I don't know if it was about the previous thing, the connection, how it is, how we are connected.
Yes.
It's it's something so weird. Like it happened like a month and a half ago. I was sitting, by the way, I live in Saudi Arabia, in Jeddah, not in Jordan, but I'm from Jordan. So my son called me and he said, "Do you know this person?" I told him, "No, why?" He said, "Mama, he died. He's such a young man. He's only 18." So like the family, it rings a bell, and I didn't like connect anything. So 2 days, like at night when I was praying, I was talking with my son who crossed, and I told him, "You have a young man who's coming, help him." And I do talk a lot, okay, with my son.
Good.
Next day, I was like, I was praying the rosary, and before going to work, and I saw two like white butterflies coming. In Saudi Arabia, you can't see these things, okay, unless like it's magic, okay, because of the weather and the things. And then I didn't finish the rosary. So I said, like, okay, whenever I have free time to finish it, either during the break at work, I will finish. And when I started, like, after lunch, I wanted to finish praying the rosary. And again, the two butterflies, the white ones, came like this beside the window. I was like, seriously? I do believe in these things, okay? Because I see them since like 3 years. And then, okay, it happened and I'm done. Next day, I was like checking my messages, and my friend, she was posting about that guy. I called her. I was like, Lima, what's happening? Do you know him? Do you know his parents? She said, yeah, he's a colleague of my son. They just graduated. They went to Spain to study. I told her, this is what I've seen. I don't know the parents, but please tell them that he's fine. This is what I figured out. And she said, okay, because he was in coma 5 days before dying, and they had to remove all the machines on him. And she told the parents. A couple of days later, she was calling me. She said, Elena, please, the mom, she wants to talk to you. Like, you don't believe how much she put them in comfort, and they found it like so healing. Whatever I said about the two butterflies, like, okay. Then I called the mom. And of course, I've talked to her. I've passed through the same experience. So she was asking me a lot, and we've talked. I had no clue that she knows about my son. She doesn't know. After the burial of her son and everything, I called just to check on her, and she said, "Do you know that I know your mom?" I told her, "What?" She said, "Yeah, more than a year, there was stuff in my mom's house. Somebody brought from Palestine to my mom, and they told her somebody will pass by to take them. Of course, after courtesy, mom told her, come for a coffee. And she came in. She saw my son's picture, and she was like, who's that? She told her, this is him. And they talked about him. And they kept crying as if God like was preparing her that she's gonna pass through the same experience.
Wow.
Yeah, and she said, "That's how I know your mom." And that's it. A week later, I was sleeping. I had that, like, I don't know if it's like the visitation thing. Behind me, it was like my son, Zaid, and with him, that boy. I don't know even his face. I don't know him, you know? And whenever I want to turn back to see my son because how much I miss him, I can't turn. I can hear him laughing, and the boy, he is laughing with him. He is so happy. So next day I was texting the mom. I told her this is what I had, just to let you know that your son, he's happy. She was super happy. Next day or at night, she was texting me, Elena, oh my God, what's happening with you? I told her what? She said, yes, what you've talked about your son. My son, he has like a very, very nice laugh, and he makes everybody laughs. And you know, he said, yes, his laughter is so popular, and like she was talking about him. I told her, okay, but how do you know him? She said, your son was in the same school, same grade of my son in Jordan.
Wow.
Like it's all, yeah, I didn't know that. Like out of nowhere, everything like was so clear. And now we are good friends. Of course, still I didn't meet her. I'm waiting like to go to Jordan, but everything is so connected. Whatever like I was telling her and whatever she wanted to ask me, it made sense, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, and it was weird. It's the weirdest thing that happened. But like what she said, Steph said, like we are all connected, and
Absolutely.
no matter what religion you are, we are, by the way. This is I do believe, and I experienced that.
Absolutely. Religion has no significance. Color has no,
Yeah,
sexual has no nothing. As long
yeah,
as,
I do believe in that.
well, what a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing with us. And Elena, you are gifted. You are, you have the empathy. And let me tell you something. Don't let anyone take that away from you.
No,
Okay.
I want. I'm so happy with it.
Yeah. Keep it. And even if people tell you you're just imagining, yeah, tell them, okay, I am imagining. I'm
No,
happy.
Garo, I have proofs. No, I have proofs literally. And since day one, I started like to write everything down so
Well done.
not to forget.
Well done.
You know?
I'm
Yeah.
so, and I pray that Zaid is his name, right?
Yeah, Zaid.
Yeah, as you said before. So I pray that Zaid will continue his visitations and give you kisses from the other side. Okay, well done. Well done. I'm learning from you, in fact. I swear, I am learning from you today. And I'm sure the other ladies are appreciating you for who you are. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we go to the question here. Uh, did the Messiah break any rules? Because people tell me that I'm breaking the rules by doing what I do, that I'm a medium and I connect with the other side. So I tell them, do you know if the Messiah broke rules? It's not a trick question. If you don't know, you don't know. That's fine.
No, because he's maybe because he was like the human nature. Of course, it's like you do mistakes, or
Yeah, but what are they? There's one.
I don't know.
Well, there's one specific one, very, very serious.
Maybe whenever before, like on the olive, there is something like
No,
whenever like he didn't want to go with the soldiers, and he said, God, please, if you can't take this away from me. But he didn't break it. No, he was like just praying. I don't know.
I'll get to the point. Sorry. Remember when they brought that woman who is sinful, a prostitute, and they said they wanted to stone her? And what Jesus said, And they prepared her. They're all gathered there, all these Neanderthals with stones in their hands, and they want to stone this woman for what she'd done, the adulteress or prostitute or whatever she was. And Jesus was playing with some pebbles on the ground. And they said, they asked him, they said, according to the laws of Moses, we have to stone her because she is an adulteress, a prostitute, whatever. And I'm sure you remember probably from the Bible where he says, he who is without sin cast the first stone. Okay? None of them threw a stone, including himself. Now, why did he do that? Because he took mercy on that woman. Because Jesus comes from love. Yeshua is love. And this is what he is, the light of the world, love. However, we have another discrepancy here. Because strictly speaking, he violated the rules of Moses. That is the rule of Moses. Moses did not say, you throw the stone if you are sinful or not sinful or whatever. He said, you just stone the person. But Jesus said, no. Fundamental changes occurred. And that's why I believe in our Lord. Bless his light, may it shine always on us. And that's why I've devoted my life in his service. Because this is where he comes from. He bucked the ignorance and the fear and the trend of stupidity. No more stoning. We are here to love and appreciate one another. So, yes, he violated the law. If we look at it in a court of law, he violated the law, full stop. Do you agree? Stephanie's confused.
Yeah, just deep in thought. I'm trying.
I'm sorry.
Said no, yeah, I'm just deep in thought, trying, thinking and picturing all of that.
Okay, well, that's why they don't join my Q&A sessions. I always invite religious people. They never show up. They're very good at leaving short messages on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
To talk face to face because they know that they're defeated before they've even begun. Because the man that they follow, the Messiah, he himself violated the Bible. And world of respect and love to this man. Had he not done that, we would still be stoning each other. And I tell you what, I would be in the circle with Stephanie, Liz, Elena surrounding me with stones, and trust me, Liz would not hesitate. So he changed the world. This is the light of the world. Light of the world means to bring light and shine it on the ignorance. So what? This woman, what crime did she do? She slept around? Okay, call her a name, leave it at that. But to stone her, take her life? Oh, for goodness sake. And also, what are we judging on? Because she has actually provided a service for pleasure? Pleasure? Are we going to condemn somebody because they've spread pleasure? And who are we going to follow? Somebody who comes up with this silly law that kill people who show pleasure, who show love? No, absolute nonsense. So there you go. That's another thing that went out of the window. Elena, what did you think about that?
Yeah, it makes sense. Like he changed it, it's like he can change everything. It's I'm with that. And like because even like the world is changing. Like there are like many things it can be changed. But you mentioned something like maybe those like religious people or please they don't join. I totally agree because when you talk with them about this stuff, like barely you can find minimal who can accept these kind of things that we talk about.
Absolutely. Number one, because they're afraid. Number two,
Mhm.
they think that they have this silly notion in their head that they should save you, that it's their duty to save you, and that everything you're saying comes from Satan and all that nonsense. So
It's a cultural thing, I think, also.
there might be culture, but I've seen it here in Lebanon, I've seen it in England, I've seen it throughout, really, this closed-mindedness. But again, their days are numbered. Why? Because people are awakening,
Mhm.
are now not tolerating any nonsense anymore. You come to England, I swear I once saw a sign outside the church saying, at the end of the service today, free beer. They wanted people to come. Free beer. They're trying their best to attract people into a church because people aren't going to churches because of this. Because from the moment you walk into the church, you are made of sin, you are this, you are that, and people have had enough. People have had enough. We have enough on our plates. I don't want someone to shout at me and condemn me for being sinful, and that same person doesn't know what he is talking about. I have enough. I don't want to be dealing with that nonsense. So they've pushed people away.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, we are living in an extreme time right now. In America, very sadly, and I do have a lot of lovely friends and people, clients, and relatives even in America. And I'm finding it extremely painful now to learn how divided they've become. Even on one of the groups that I'm in, one person has to just post something about, let's say, Trump. And oh my God, so much comes through it. Hatred to him and support of him and absolute hate back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm thinking, what the hell are you doing? Why do you guys hate each other so much? Wake up. Who is he? Some billionaire. Okay, who cares? Where's this hate coming from? Come on, wake up. So, unfortunately, our work has become harder now. The people who are awakened. So, Stephanie, you're going to have a lot cut out for you as you become more in service. Elena, you're going to face more hostility because of all these extremes that we're going through. But we need this extreme to unfortunately break, and then people will come back and be linked together again. So we need this sort of extreme for now.
I want to go what you said about Trump and all the divisiveness. I've already lost one friend, almost another one this morning,
Yeah,
um, because of this stuff.
yes.
Uh, it's very upsetting. And even I was on one site with my friend, and I said, "Why don't you?" She hates Trump like there's no tomorrow. I said, "Why don't you pray for him? Pray that he will heal our country." And she wouldn't have any part of it. And the other people that were on the site too, they wouldn't either. Nobody wants to really come together for the greater good because they think the greater good is to get rid of him. So
Um, sorry, carry
how
on.
how do you kind of bring them together?
Very easy. Very easy.
How?
Oh, Liz, come on. Every door has a key. For me, I've found the key. It works like magic. I'm not
Okay.
perfect here, but my key is I take them to the corner and I make them admit if they are Christians. And they say, yes, I am Christian. I say, are you absolutely sure? They said, yes. And I say, didn't Jesus say, love thy enemy?
Ah,
So, assuming Trump is my enemy, I have to love him according to the teachings of Christ, full stop. And if you change it, if you add to it or take from it, you are violating the Bible and the teachings of Christ. He said, love thy enemy. It's not conditional. It's nothing. Love thy enemy. Full stop. So
If I'd have written that in there, they'd be laughing at me. They would just laugh until the cows come home.
good, let them laugh. But deep down, one day they'll wake up to the fact that, hang on, what have I been doing? You see, you need to ignore the noise as well. There's the noisemakers. The noisemakers are basically empty vessels that make loud noises. There's plenty of them. They laugh. And I must say, maybe COVID, maybe God knows what, maybe eating pancakes in the morning, I don't know. But something has happened to a lot of people in this world, unfortunately. I feel sad for them. They're very misguided, they're very lost, and they laugh. But I know that fear induces laughter as well. So let them laugh. It's not going to affect you or me or, you're very intelligent ladies here. But they cannot deny the law of Christ if they call themselves Christian. I've used this line on fighters here in Lebanon, Christian fighters. They couldn't answer. They said, well, I'm defending myself. I said, why? Because Jesus told you, love thy enemy. How can you be shooting at them? The world would be a different place if we truly followed the messages of Christ in the purest essence, not in the way that sits with us and conveniently twist things and manipulate things to make them work for us, but for what they are. He knows. He knows exactly what he was saying. Love thy enemy. Because otherwise, there is no other option here. Otherwise, we will descend to hell as we are right now, with hatred and anger and resentment. And negative beckons more negativity. Hatred brings more hatred. This is where it is. It never ends. And he knew what he was doing. Somewhere along the line, we need to cut the chain and say, enough is enough. So I pray one day it'll come, but not now. First, we have to deal with ourselves, then the noisemakers, and then the fear and everything else. I'm going to take a break, sit back. Anyone wants to share anything, please do.
I thought you said something about Bashir.
Who?
Is that Bashir? Bashir?
Here? No.
No, okay.
Are you in the right group?
Yes.
Liz, I'm sorry. No, I did not mention Bashir.
Okay.
Okay. So, girls, I want to ask you a question here. Do you think what I'm doing is wrong? Like
No.
communication and mediumship, do you think that's wrong?
Heck no.
Okay.
I had this argument, by the way, with a priest from Jordan.
Okay.
He didn't say it's wrong,
Yes.
but he said like it might like get to a wrong way. Like sometimes you don't know like you're dealing with those like good souls. Sometimes it might be the bad side.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, this is what, and he's an open-minded priest, by the way. So I love to talk with him a lot. So he admitted, like, whenever I was like seeing and feeling stuff, I used to be open with him, and he validated a lot of things. Sometimes he's like, seriously? And I told him yes. And something like I showed him even, and even he was like, oh my God, yeah, it's happening, you know?
Yeah.
Like he didn't deny it. Usually they say no, or
Yeah,
no, this won't happen, or this is like hallucinations, or like from your imagination because of like you lost your son. He didn't do that. He
beautiful,
was like literally so open.
beautiful.
But he said like just take care whenever you do this kind of thing or through a medium, like not to get the wrong way.
Absolutely. What a beautiful man. In your case, Elena, you don't have anything to worry about. I feel very strongly that your son, I don't want to open up. It's not the time for it. This is not the time or place. But I do, in my heart, feel that he is a very strong personality and you are very much connected. And it's a very strong, good connection. So you have nothing to fear. This priest, bless his soul, bless his heart, is a very intelligent man. And he knows. Uh, and I love it when we have such priests. I have priests who are very good friends of mine. Okay. One day I asked my friend, who is also a priest here in Lebanon, and I said, Father, what happens? Uh, uh, what happens after that? I mean, do you think there is something? He said, Look, if there is something, we're all great. But if there's nothing, and he pointed to the collar, he said, Well, some of us are really screwed. And I loved it. Absolutely loved it that he has that sense of humor. Another priest who's twisted will say, How dare you be blasphemous? You are denying, oh, shut up. God is love. God is, most of the beautiful communications from the other side include a lot of laughter, a lot of smiles. They want us to be happy because this is what the world is. We have taken each other and ourselves, especially, much too seriously. So well done. And absolutely agree with him. Stephanie, you were going to say something as well.
I was, and I've lost it. I don't remember.
Is it about a priest thing? Because this is what he was asking.
I don't know.
Don't worry.
No, say, you know what? I'd never ever heard before. Maybe it's because I've never been a churchgoer. Um, but I found it so interesting when you said how we call him Jesus, but that's not the his actual name. That just
No,
and what did you say his actual name was again?
Yeshua.
Yeshua?
Yeshua. It's Yeshua. Yeshua. That's where the word in Arabic comes from, Yeshua. It's the closest to the Aramaic, Yeshua. And in fact, here in Lebanon, not far from where I am, a stone throw away, we have a tiny, tiny little village, cute little village. And it's called Mazra'at Yeshua, which means the farm of Yeshua. The farm implies the sheep, meaning the followers of Christ, the followers of
Oh,
Yeshua. Yeah.
wow.
Stephanie, this used to be a beautiful place, far better than Jordan. One of these days, you are very well.
I totally agree. It's okay.
One of these days,
I do visit Lebanon a lot.
one of these days, you are welcome to visit us here. Not now, when conditions allow in the future one day. And when you come here, it's your heart. It's a very special place. And the majority of people are actually very nice people, except for the few idiots and the clowns. But the majority are loving people. Believe me or not, believe it or not, in fact, I don't want to deviate too much here, but there are many Americans who live in Lebanon. In fact, in the hundreds, and they refuse to leave throughout the problems. They said, This is our home. We love it here. It's a
Wow.
very special place. Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. Very special place.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, if you get the wrong name, the name wrong, you don't even know the name, then all else follows. How much do you know about the person? How much do you know about the Bible? That's the problem here. They don't know.
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
I've always believed in God, but as a child, I didn't want to go to church. My heart wasn't into it. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like I needed to go to church to be able to pray. And I don't know. It was just there was just not a connection with me in church ever.
Stephanie, may I please remind you here on two points? Yeshua in the
Hmm.
Bible, he told us two things. The house of God is in your heart. Simple. It's not in bricks where people go to church. It's in your heart. Second of all, when he went to church, it ended up in a beating. He beat the merchants who were there selling stuff. He beat them out and kicked them out. So, which means that, he doesn't want it to be polluted. It has to be unadulterated and pure. It's in your heart, full stop. And since he beat them out, they've come back in. Now in churches, they sell all sorts of stuff. They're giving free beer, as I told you before, everything.
Right.
No, I'd rather that you don't go to church and have the church in your heart. I'd rather someone like Liz, who is supporting ladies with the same predicament, the same problem that she went through. I'd rather someone like Elena, who is supporting that one lady in her own way. And I pray one day you'll meet her in person. What a beautiful coincidence and, plan or whatever it is. I'd rather the service as opposed to sitting there listening to a man telling me about how sinful I am and so forth. 2024, in Minnesota alone, 600 plus cases of priests violating sexually children or whoever it was. 600 plus cases have been reported. No, I'd rather not go to such a church. My church is in my heart.
Mm-mm.
Okay?
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I mean, because I always thought I was weird, and I couldn't explain it. I didn't feel like I needed. Just felt like I could be anywhere and talk to God. So I have to agree with that.
Stephanie, bless your heart, my dear. You're not weird, far from it. You're absolutely beautiful as a soul. I know you very well. You are far from being weird. Okay? I grew up in a Catholic
Thank you.
school here in Lebanon. And although I'm not Catholic, I grew up in a Catholic school. And because of their bullying and all the harassment and all their nonsense,
Mhm.
I set my mind to learning the Bible inside out, the New Testament, so that I can take them on. And you know what? I ended up, without being big headed here, I ended up being in a better place to counter argue. So they couldn't use their trickery with me. And I was forced into this situation. Although I must say, I do appreciate the fact that I read the Bible and learned about the Messiah, Yeshua, and I'm so proud to follow in his steps and honored to be in his service. But it wasn't done for the right reasons, although it bore fruit in the end, if you see where I'm coming from.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you didn't know. Well done.
Yeah, I didn't, but as you know, as I've been older, then I've read the Bible, but it's yeah, it's fascinating.
Yeah. Shall we shift the subject to a lighter situation where we can have A bit of a giggle? Anyone wants to share something connected to the subject, but on the funny side, if you want? Because I have many funny stories to share if you want.
Let's
Okay, I'm going to. Oh, Liz, go ahead.
no, I said, yeah, let's hear your funny stories.
Well, I'll give you one here. When I was at the said Catholic school here in Lebanon, we had a horrible priest, big fat guy, bald, and he absolutely hated kids. You know, children feel when an adult doesn't like them. They're very intuitive, very empathic. And he used to actually carry a stick with him to beat us. Oh yeah, they love beating children here back then. And then they wonder why the kids are running around crazy and beating other kids and so forth. So anyway, he loved to beat us, and he would stand in the class and bore the hell out of us, talking nonsense and being very stern, intense, and so forth. We hated the class, he hated us, but we were stuck with him. So the focus was really, I used to entertain myself because the light was above his head in the class, and that boldness used to shine. And I used to entertain myself and just wait for the right moment when it glows almost like a halo. So, so one day he announced to the class that he wants to break some very sad news. And he told us that he's leaving in a week. So we started acting, of course. Oh no, you're leaving. Oh, I'm so sorry, and this and that. And he actually believed it, that we are so sad to see him go. So we decided to buy him a farewell present. And we got him a present in a box, wrapping it out. And we placed it on the desk the next week before he left. He came, and you can see his eyes glowed. There's a big present there for him. Opened the box and took it out. We got him a hairdryer.
Maybe it's gonna be for his friend, not for him.
What did he say, Garo?
He said, "Thank you very much," in a sarcastic way. What can he say? He looked at us. He said, "Well, thank you." So, there's quite a lot. Used to entertain myself with them. I don't know why I brought this up. I just thought maybe we've gone a bit too deep with subject. I thought I want to give you girls a giggle here.
You definitely gave us a giggle. That was funny.
Right. I know our session is scheduled for 2 hours, but we don't have to be strict about that. Uh, do you have any questions, or should I bring this to an end? It's up to you.
I have a question.
Good.
Um, so in the Bible it says that the way to get to me is through Jesus. And what about all the other religions, Garo? All the Buddhists, the Hindu, the Muslims. Uh, I believe that we're all under one umbrella and that we all go to the same spot, no matter what you believe. What do you think about that?
Well, look, it's very deep, very difficult question, this one, because as the saying goes, all roads lead to Rome. Okay. However, most of these religions, as you have mentioned, have discrepancies and have conflicts within them. Some involve things that conflict with the very standards that they've been set upon. Others seem very warped, like it doesn't make sense. Who reaches the end? I don't know. All I know is, putting religion to one side, we will all end up in the spirit world anyway. The religions are just man-made, really, written by people. So to me, it doesn't really matter. But within some of the stories, there are actually facts as well we can go back and refer to. And some of these facts are very warped. Okay? Some of these religions, I'm not going to say which one or which ones, have stolen from other religions, have made up their own religion. Others, there is no religion. You ask them, what is your religion? They don't know. They say, we can only share that information when you are 45 or something like that. There exists this religion here in Lebanon, all sorts of stuff. The bottom line is, we die, we go to the spirit world. And there we reestablish our connection in the light, to the light, and so forth. So thank God that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, because the religions are just a bunch of, I don't want to say nonsense, but spaghetti, really. It's very confusing. I mean, even in the Christian religion, there's Christians who argue, they say cremation is not allowed in Christianity. And I say, yeah. How come in Corinthians number 13, it says, and if I give up my body to be burnt? So clearly, once upon a time, in the times of Jesus, bodies were burnt. And they start, they can't answer it. It's there. So, unfortunately, that's where we are, Liz.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, my dear. Anyone else? You'll win a hairdryer if you have a question.
Yeah, I need one. No, I think what you just said, like, but at the end of the day, all the religions are, there is something connecting between them. Like I read like a couple of books from for different religions, let's say from India, from Islam. We live in a Muslim country, you know? But like at the end of the, like, there's something that's connected, and they don't, as if like they are refusing to admit it.
Yeah,
Very few who can say, yes, it is this way. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's, yeah, as she said, like I read like that book. I don't know if you know about it, the Tibetan book. It's about like those kinds of religion and how it is connected with the universe and the death and the afterlife and things and the process of like how the soul is moving. It makes sense if you connect it to our religion, to Christianity, a
yeah.
lot that has a meaning, the same meanings, the same in depth, you know? I
Yes,
was I was like, yeah, there is something. We are all connected. It doesn't matter the religion, or as you mentioned, it's at the end of the day, it's the souls, because we are like souls and bodies, not bodies and souls. This is what I believe. And it doesn't matter if you can criminate this person or not, because he won't feel it. He moved on. He just like, I don't know, fly. He went, stepped out of this universe. He's here with a different frequency. I can't get it to now, but it depends. Whenever like you channel, or it's like whenever like you open your mobile and you want to call on FaceTime, it's either connected or not. This is how the way I see it. or I feel it. I don't know. And as like what Stephanie mentioned, like she wasn't going to church. I've been here for the past like almost 20 years. We don't have churches here. And I raised up three kids, it's like they know everything about Christianity, the religion. It's from me. It's through me. It's like the way we live our life, like how to be good, how to do love, empathy, sympathy for with others. That's how it goes. Like whenever we are in Jordan, we just go to church just for them to know it's, but they turned out like they know in religion or their acts of religion or religious acts better than those who attend religion church every Sunday.
100%.
It's how you wanna be, I think.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, Elena.
So
Absolutely.
send the hair dryer, don't forget.
I fully agree. Well done, and bless your household and all who dwell in your household for being the way you are. Well done. You're a genuine person here. Um, the thing is, unfortunately, people have forgotten that the church starts from within. The church starts from within. So in Saudi Arabia, yeah, you don't have churches, but so what? So what? The church starts from within. Okay. Tomorrow I might be going to a church here locally, not for mass, but there's a tiny little village church where I am. I go there. I don't go for show because I'll be completely alone. I love going there because I'm alone. I will light a candle and I will say my prayer in private. I won't go for showmanship. Hey, look at me, look at what I'm doing. And no, no, no. I'll go there and I'll say my private prayer alone. And this is where Jesus wants us to be. He said, when you pray, find a space, find a place where you're quiet, when you're alone, when you can reach God. Not for show and so forth, when it's private. So well done to you. I have a question for you, Elena, here, since you seem to know your religion and
Mm.
you respect. Do you believe that Jesus was the Son of God?
It's he is God. It's one. I believe in the oneness thing.
Okay.
This is how I believe it. Like I can't separate them, you know? It's there was like I used to have a priest who taught us at school time. He came from the States. He was like very old, but I loved him so much. He was giving us like those things like any Arabic priest won't talk about, like abortion, sexual stuff, all of these things. And we mentioned that, but he said like we cannot separate it, but like if you reach that understanding of the religion, it won't be a religion. It's above our understanding, you know? So I can't understand like Jesus or Yeshua, he's God at the same time, and the Holy Spirit. They are three in one, and that's the oneness. So I can't say if he's the Son or not. Like he's part of it. I don't know if it makes sense, but
It makes, I mean, are you Catholic?
actually I'm Latin. Yeah, it's half half here and there. I don't believe even in those. Like I go everywhere, I
Yeah,
pray, I say what I want, and I leave.
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
The reason why I asked is, are you Catholic? Because predominantly this is what the Catholic belief is built on, the triangle, the
Mm.
tree, okay?
Yeah.
But this is mankind, man's interpretation. Because if
Mhm.
you go back to the Bible and listen to Yeshua, what he was saying, what he calls himself. May I please ask you to go back in memory lane and tell me, how did Yeshua refer to himself every time he spoke of himself in the New Testament?
Of the life, like
Huh?
he said, like I'm the life. He's everything. I don't know how which verse, which
How he described, how he referred to himself. I
uh,
uh, he always called himself the Son of Man.
oh yeah, but that's a term. Like, yeah, but who's the man? It's God.
No,
So
man, not God. We brought this, the Son of God. He is the Son of Man.
The Son of Man because of like in his human nature, which is like Joseph.
And Mary.
So,
They're human.
right?
Joseph,
Yeah,
Mary are
and
human.
Mary.
Yes. Christ, Yeshua, is human, but he is an advanced soul. If you think about it, he displays the perfect characteristics of a medium.
Oh, it makes sense.
The healer, the exorcist, the medium, the one who's
True,
on the mountain who's communicating with Moses and Elijah,
true.
yeah, the one who
Yeah.
had the transfiguration experience. Now, I can't explain the spreading of the bread and fish. I can't explain the walking on water. Perhaps there are
Yeah. So that's the godly characteristics. So
maybe,
that's why I connect that.
yes. So maybe there's that. But Christ himself, and do you know why he referred to himself as the Son of Man?
Hmm.
The
Why?
reason is because he did not want people to worship him, to keep things down to earth, because he's so humble. The extra bit, we brought it on. We took him to other levels. We pushed him so far up, we lost sight of his teachings. It was all about, Hallelujah, the Lord Jesus Christ. And we forgot about his teachings,
Yeah,
fundamental,
the words. True,
his word. He said himself, forget, do not look at the messengers, look at the message.
true. I do believe.
Yeah. So that's why he does not want people to spin off and go to other dimensions here. Let's keep things down to earth. Because what he did was absolutely remarkable. No one can ever explain it. No one. Bringing back the dead, doing all these miracles. And that's why they crucified him, is because this guy changed, he, uh, uh, he did away with the laws, the old laws. He's introducing new concepts, new ideas. He's challenging the church, beating the merchants. He's doing miracles they can't explain. So, hey, we need to contain this guy. We need to contain him. The same old bearded, you know, senile old men are still here. And they're crucifying Christ and the instruments of Christ every single day. Anyone who stands for him, anyone who does his service, anyone who is standing for good. They're still here around us doing
Yeah,
what, okay?
true.
Unfortunately, this is where we are. Sorry, I've just unplugged my laptop by mistake. Sorry. Okay. Stephanie, this sounds fascinating to you.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a great discussion. And yeah, very much so.
I'm not afraid of discussing. People tell me, they used to tell me back then, oh, you shouldn't think that way. You shouldn't speak this way. You are, being blasphemous here. You are this, you are that. Now I know it's just a pack of lies. We are created with free will. I mean, if God wanted us to not think, He would created us as all of us potatoes, walking and talking potatoes. But we are here to think. We are in His image.
We are part of him because he created us. This is,
Absolutely. Starting
yeah,
with Adam and Eve,
yeah,
yeah,
true.
according to the Bible. So that means somebody along the line married their sister.
What?
Yeah. Think about it. We have Adam and Eve. They give birth to, let's say, two boys, two girls. How did they multiply?
But that was the sin, the original sin, as it says. It's the sexuality, the deception, they lived in that, or they wanted like more people. That's why how they did it.
Yeah, but that defeats the purpose of creating anybody in their image.
Oh.
So that implies that if we are incestuous that way, that means we're created in somebody's image that way. That doesn't sit well with me.
In your heart of hearts, do you really believe that there was an Adam and Eve, Garo?
No,
Okay.
because the simple reason, because if it started with them two, then it means we're all products of incest. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make some sense to me that someone would create the universe as a whole with every living organism, the colors, everything, all detail, and say, you know what? I'm going to create two, a man and a woman, and didn't think as far to say, when they have kids, these kids are going to marry each other. Oh, come off it. Come off it. There's more to life than that. That story is a fairy tale written to the simple minds back then, because back then there was a hairline between cavemen and the modern man back then who could sort of accept the picture. You tell the caveman we evolved, or you tell the caveman flying saucers gave birth to us, or you tell them anything else, they will not understand. But you tell them God came and created these two, and from these two multiplied. Caveman is not going to say, oh, how could they multiply, man? Caveman is going to say, oh, wow, amazing how they multiplied and spread.
So what do you believe with?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
there is something, there is a power, there is a sort of like,
know.
or maybe it was like we were something and then
You
with
mean I believe
time,
like how it started in that?
yeah, yeah, like
I
humanity.
I have no idea whether we evolved from monkeys or whether we are going back to monkeys. I really have no idea. All I know is now. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know where the hell we came from. Some people say, oh, we've been created by extraterrestrials. Maybe, I have no idea. Some people say, no way, we've been created from a pond. This thing started creeping out and coming out. Who knows? I don't know. I can't say I know. When I don't know something, I say I don't know. I wasn't here 6 million years ago, so I don't know. But to go with that story, that is concrete and absolute truth, that it was two people and then their offspring married and intermarried, hey, that's a big no-no for me, a red flag. I'm sorry, this is where we draw the line here, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you believe there is an end for this?
And for what? Sorry.
Or for this, for the whole universe, for life, for whatever the Bible is telling us?
No, there's no end. There's no beginning. There's no end. It exists.
So it's gonna be like
No,
going on and on.
absolutely. And we are so insignificant. We're now discovering through the technology and telescopes just how insignificant we are. Like this
Mm.
planet here is like a tiny speck of dust. So even if we are extinguished tomorrow, the whole thing will carry on.
Mm.
And there's birth of stars and there's death of stars. This whole organism, whatever it is alive. It's absolutely alive. So I don't believe that it's got an end. Not at least the way we know, but I do believe that there's an end to the ignorance of man. We are slowly entering the age of enlightenment. Very slowly, as you yourself said, more people are opening up. I can see it here in Lebanon. I've got now Lebanese clients, whereupon once upon a time they would have said, stay away from me, Satan. Now people are opening up. I've connected with so many lovely Lebanese people here and with their loved ones on the other side. They're now open about it. Final question for you, Elena. Let's see how well you know your Bible.
Not very well, yeah. But like
Listen,
on the surface, it's like, yeah, from school time.
you keep this up. You're not going to get that hair dryer. You keep this up.
Type, okay, tell me.
Did Jesus have any brothers or sisters?
And I say, yeah, he used to say like, yeah, yeah, but I can't remember what, but yes, he said like my brother, my sister, he kept saying that, but not from Joseph and Mary. I think like, listen, like this is something like I've heard. It's all what I know. Yes, he mentioned that. He mentioned brothers and sisters,
Okay.
but where exactly I can't tell you.
Yeah, you're halfway there.
Yeah.
It was when he was giving a sermon to all the people, and somebody came and said, Master, uh, your brothers and sisters here are here. And he turned and he said, who are my brothers and sisters? For all these people here are my brothers and sisters. So, yes, he did have biological brothers and sisters. And that was his way to show that everybody is a brother and sister to him.
It's like I understood it like everybody's connected.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way. Sometimes like you need to analyze it differently to get to know what's the meaning of the thing itself.
Can I what? Sorry?
You need to analyze it. You have to analyze the words itself. Like you cannot just say what does that mean? Biological, it's like they think it's like from the same mom and dad, you know? But he didn't mean that. He meant like everyone is connected. That's why we are brothers and sisters.
Absolutely. That's the second part. But the first part, when whoever told him, your brothers and sisters are here, or your brother and sister, I can't remember here. I don't want to be misquoting.
Hmm.
The, it means very likely, and I'm almost sure here, where somebody's telling him that your biological brother and your biological sister are here. And he goes, all these people here are my brothers and sisters. Which again shows me the constitution of Yeshua as a person. What a beautiful heart he has. Yes, you are my biological brother, you are my biological sister, but I don't care about that. Everyone is my brother and sister. There's differentiation here. So, had that person not intended to differentiate, perhaps he was saying this because he wants them to get VIP seats in the front. Oh, we're connected to him. No, he said everybody here is the same. This is the core message of Christ, which I absolutely adore and love. Everybody, we are brothers, we are sisters. The philosophy of life, the philosophy of everything, humanity, is so simple, built on simplicity with love. Simplicity, that's it. And yet we've complicated ourselves. And as if that wasn't enough, we've now created what they refer to as an artificial intelligence that's going to conflict with us and complicate things even worse. So there you go. This is where we are. Well, Stephanie, do you want to say something? I feel you. No. Okay.
I'd like to just say that I've enjoyed this time with the three of us, the four of us, including you.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz. I've actually loved our meeting today. And seriously, I've always been told by a dear friend of mine who is a very advanced medium. I once told her, I said, I organized a Q&A session. I've ended up with 5 people where 20 people subscribed to it, but they didn't show up and so forth. And she told me, she said, no, you're missing the point. The people that count are there. And this is how I feel today. The people who count are here. Elena, Stephanie, and Liz. So glad we are here. Thank you, all of you, for attending and making.
Thank you so much, Garo. Thank you so much.
That's your heart.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Elena, if you don't hear from me, please reach out to me on Facebook or whatever for me to send you that link. I am itching to connect with you. Okay?
Thank you so much. It means a lot. Thank you. Ladies, I will update you. Don't worry. Don't forget the hair dryer. I answered all your questions.
You like that story, huh?
Because my dad and my husband, they are both bald.
All right.
I will give it to them.
Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank
Take
you.
care. That's all of you. See you soon.
See you. Take care. Bye, ladies.